What do y'all think of the food? Is it any good? Terrible.
Good start.
Mhm.
Right, well, it looks like we're able to start now. It looks like we have a full house. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. This is our first student government town hall after the break and in our second part of the semester. Nice, it's really nice to see you all here. Yeah, I underestimated like how many tables we'll need, so I'm sorry for the people in the back, but thank you for coming. My name is Alex Miranda. I'm the president of student government, and we can just introduce ourselves before we start with our updates.
My name is Hector Cumming. I'm the treasurer for student government.
My name is Michael Zazzo. I am the vice president of student government.
And if we wanted to go counterclockwise, well, clockwise and start with Tyrell.
Yes, my name is Tyrell. I'm the president of BASHU.
I'm Pearson Van Gorp. I'm the managing editor of the collegiate newspaper here at GRCC.
I'm Ash Freed, I'm the president of International Language Club.
I'm Ryan Palmetier. I'm an advisor for the International Language Club.
I'm Evodi, I'm media representative for Basil.
Hi, I'm Jamelia Hardley. I'm the interim director for the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
What do you want to do? I'm Ashley. I work in student life and advise student government. My name is Katya and I'm the secretary of President Data.
My name is Remy. I'm the student ambassador for Stanford.
I'm Michaela Brossman. I'm the president of the student geology rocks. Oh my gosh, the geology club, Nice Rocks.
The people in the back want to introduce.
I'm Sydney. I am the treasurer of the Black African American News. I am Nicole. I'm part of the BASU. I'm Lumari. I'm a part of what you can say. Shakira. Yeah, so Shakira Craig, the advisor for the Black African student.
Nice. Well, thank you all for coming once again. To start us off, we have a quick icebreaker or however long you take to answer it, but the icebreaker is, how's the first half of your semester been? Best and worst parts of the semester? Honestly, I don't know mine. Michael, do you know yours yet?
Yeah, I can go. Best part of the semester for me this semester has just been student government participation. The classes that I selected this semester have been a bit more difficult than I've anticipated. So being able to do student government in conjunction with that has allowed me to take the breaks necessary to get momentum and dive back into classes. Worst part of the semester, that's a tough one. I think I'm just gonna have to go with my computer programming course because it was online and for something that I didn't know a lot about, I think it probably would have been better to select an in-person lecture for that one. Because the online course is a bit tough. So that'll be me.
The best part about my semester has been, learning my role in student government and getting to meet people on campus. Yeah, and then the worst part about the semester, it's probably been like this week. School's been very demanding. Just started my 4th class this semester that's like accelerated, so that's put a lot more on my plate, but everything's good. Yeah.
I think I'm ready now. I think my best part of the semester has been student government, as Hector and Michael have said. In student government, you really meet so many people and get so many opportunities. It's crazy. Worst part, probably the workload. Yeah, I'm over it. I'm just kidding, but
It's been a dense semester all around, it feels
Yeah.
like.
yeah. Yeah, Tyrell.
Yes, I would say the best part of this semester, I have 2 things. One is all of the events that was put on for Black History Month, super dope month, this year. And it was super fun, got to meet a lot of people and experience a lot of different personalities. Second thing is, I don't know if you guys know, but GRCC is hosting a play called The Incorruptibles, April 11th, 12th, and 13th. and I am in the cast, so it's been great getting to know my cast and, just preparing. It's been a lot of hard work, but it's been fun. The worst part of the semester, I would say, is, um, I would probably say, yeah, juggling the workload of what all comes with being a president and also school, so.
Yeah, my favorite part, like Tyrell said, was like events on campus. It's just been phenomenal to go there and meet new people that I really haven't been able to do throughout my time here at CC, so that's been a really good experience. And then also, I'd say, just the overall community feel that I've felt here the last few weeks, I feel like it's been different compared to maybe not even just last semester, but all my time here, honestly, that's how it's felt. And then the worst part, I'd say, like you guys have said, it's just sort of workload managing between classes and then being a leader here at CC. It's not easy.
I feel like the best part was meeting the people and like talking to all the different, I didn't know so many people existed, like so many different things. And then the worst part was we having 3 science classes.
That's tough.
What science classes?
It is organic chemistry 2, physics 2, and quantitative analysis chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck to that. Ryan?
Yeah, the best part for me, I work with students pretty much all day, every day, and I work with students, so that's been the best part. The flip side of that though is like everyone else has said, it gets super busy, so I feel like if I don't look at my phone, there's like 10 messages of people who need stuff, so. Yeah, it's been pretty busy, but it's meaningful work, so thank you.
The best part for me is like, school has been good so far. I dropped my accounting classes, so. And I've been doing pretty good in my other stuff.
I would say the best part has been all the different opportunities I've had to meet a lot of different students recently. We partnered with BASU for Black History Month, so I'm looking forward to making connections with other student organizations, really just emphasizing that collaborative piece and just getting to know our student leaders through the process of planning, different events and seeing them operate in their, their spaces. So that's been really good. And then I'm also a student, so classes have been going well for me as well. I got my first paper back this semester and I got an A on it. So that was exciting and lets me know that I still can do this student life thing as a student and learner, and I'm teaching a couple classes too. So I would say not necessarily the worst, but it is definitely a full plate with all the transitions that's just been happening in the office. I love being around people and developing a team. So right now our office is a little short staffed, so that's been a little challenging.
Best and worst, Best, I might give it to having a director in the student life office again. Just allows us to pick up steam again. Worst part, probably this semester, just flying by. I'm just trying to like be present in the moments of like, I know a lot of people are moving on, and so I'm really fighting a balance with how fast the semester is going.
It's crazy how we're already more than halfway done.
Mhm.
Yeah. Copy.
Yeah, so the best part for me so far has been maintaining my beat in math, because it's my worst subject. And, yeah, so that's been kind of nice. And, apart from that, also just meeting a bunch of people too. I mainly take classes online, so this is like the only opportunity for me to come to campus. Well, I can come by myself, but yeah, just meeting people, meeting other student leaders on campus and kind of, seeing how you guys run everything and it's nice. And the worst part, I think, just finding a balance between school, work and personal life. Just.
Best parts for me, kind of like everyone else, being able to participate in campus events, being able to meet new people, and I would say my class is going well. I only have one, and then I just learned I have like one more left, so I'm happy about that. And then the worst part is probably just like trying to juggle with personal life issues and all that. It's, like with schoolwork and all that, kind of makes it a little bit more difficult, but yeah.
Cool. Michaela.
The best part of my semester so far has been planning out my degree in more detail. Now I can, I've been kind of going by flying by the seat of my pants for a little bit with my transfer degree, but now it's more clear and I'm getting really excited about pursuing, my degree. And then, I had issues with work-life balance with my, programming class as well, but I just dropped it. Because it's not necessary and I don't need an associate's. So I'm doing well. I'm doing well now with work-life balance.
Are you, do you mind if I ask, was that the online class too? Okay.
No, it's like a Friday morning 3-hour lab and that's it. And he just kind of talks and does review the whole time. We don't really have practice time, so I need somebody to hold my hand through all of that, so.
I understand.
Mhm.
The people in the back want to share.
What happened, you got one good thing and one bad thing?
Yeah, about this semester.
I'm registered for graduation, which is a good thing, and I got several promotions at my job.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what's going on, and then, I don't really have any bad things. So, it's pretty good.
Nice. Well, congrats on your promotion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, kind of good. So I think the good thing is meeting new people who is gonna be a student. And we've had a lot of events going on, and I think that was really helpful. And one bad thing is, I think the workload for the passions is really a lot.
For me, I'll say the biggest thing is just learning within self. Like learning something new every day, because you all know you can always improve on something. Always have room to learn something new. And then the bad thing, which is over with the weather, is now, I'm just so happy that's over.
I hope we don't get any this year.
Hi, everybody, I'm PJ. One good thing that I like about this semester is all of the events that like the student life that's been happening, like I like seeing people around and things like that. So that's been fun, the ones that I do get to attend. And then the bad thing, girl, I'm with you, it's the weather and the traffic, like around campus. It's very annoying, but other than that.
You gotta love the construction, right?
Yeah.
And so the best thing for me, is that different collaborations and cinemas like Black Africans being able to participate in this year. So it's wonderful to see them out and active. The worst thing is that the semester's ending, but also for me, for financial aid, this new path simplification has not been as smooth as it has been in the past, so it has made our office very, very stressful. But other than that, we're moving along.
And it looks like we have some virtual audience that, and I'd like to introduce them as well. Aya, if you wanted to go first.
Hello everyone, my name is Aya Khalil. I am the International Vice President for the Language Club, and my good thing in the semester, meeting new people, getting more involved in the International Language Club, and my worst thing was taking online classes. I'm not an online class person.
And Alyssa, if you wanted to go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alyssa Gomez. I work in student life and conduct, and I am CAB's advisor, so I'm here on their behalf. My favorite part of the semester so far is, gosh, I don't know, everything, just all the events that everybody's hosting and being able to attend. That's been really fun. And then the sad part, yeah, I guess that we're already halfway through. It's kind of wild, so happy to be here.
Yeah. And well, it seems like the common theme is that we're all busy. We're packed, but like like Alyssa said, we're halfway through. We have a month and a couple weeks left. We gotta end strong. But yeah, thank you all for coming and sharing, and we can start with our updates. Our first update is, at our last town hall, we briefly mentioned that the Ford Fieldhouse has been renamed as the GRCC Ford Rec Center. That's not as true as we announced the project of the natatorium renovation is being renamed to the GRCC Ford Rec Center. So the Ford Fieldhouse will still remain the GRCC Ford Fieldhouse. The project name of the natatorium renovation is just being changed to the GRCC Ford Rec Center. So that's a little clarification on our end. So yeah, Hector is still on that committee.
Yeah, saying lots of cool things, I'm very excited, and hopefully next town hall, I'll update you guys more on the work that they're getting done over there, so.
Yeah. Our second update is the Student Leadership Award ceremony on March 21st. That's just in a couple more weeks. Everyone is encouraged to attend to RSPB. The nominations went out last week, I think. And yeah, did you have a question?
I got 2 emails. The 13th, is that a date we need to be attending?
13?
It was
Is
updated
there
to
two, like
the
there was
21st.
one that said the 13th and the other said another date?
I think it was updated to the 21st. That's the actual date.
So nothing is planned for the 13th?
No. But yeah, the nominations did go out. I know Michaela, Tyrell, Michael, Tara, Ebony, Sydney, Spencer. A lot of people that usually attend here got nominated, so I mean, could we give a round of applause? Ashpreet, I didn't forget you, I'm sorry. And Aya,
Voting too?
yeah, you voting.
Dang.
Sorry, yeah.
Everybody in this room, but.
Two quick things about the leadership awards that I forgot to write down on the list. First, I was confused about this, but the student leadership awards are for all student boards and student leaders. And so don't think that just because you're not on a board, that you shouldn't attend. Every student is welcome to attend and every student is encouraged to attend. And then additionally to that, I believe that it was announced that the theme for the leadership awards was gonna be, Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like red carpet walk or something like that for the theme for the award ceremony.
Oscars.
Yeah, so, dress nice. I'm getting my suit and tie pressed for the occasion, so let's go out there looking all dapper.
Yeah, and I know BASU and Nice Rocks, you guys were nominated for, as like an organization award, so
Yeah.
congrats on that.
I got a quick question. Is there anything that you would encourage us to do to help with the marketing of the event, like?
Tell everyone you know to come on down. There's gonna be like food, there's gonna be
There
food,
is
right?
limited seating, so
Mm.
if you're gonna like tell all, have them RSVP.
Okay.
We'd like to get a handle on like who we should be expecting,
Mm.
because we're set, like our capacity should be like no more than 110.
Okay,
All so
right.
yes, and.
No, thank you.
I got a little too excited.
That's all good. Understandable. First come, first second.
Well, congrats to everyone who's nominated, and we hope to see you there, and hopefully you guys win some awards. But yeah, congrats. Our last update, it's pretty exciting, kind of sad as well, but student government will be having 3 open positions for the next academic year. And it would be a 1-year commitment starting from this year, May to next year, May. Those positions are the vice president role, the treasurer role, and the communications director role. Sadly, Hector, Michael, and Nick will step down from their roles this semester, well, at the end of the semester, and just go on with their future endeavors. Yeah, so we have 3 open positions that students are able to apply now until March 31st. Hector, Michael, did you guys want to speak about your stepping down or anything?
Just if you had any questions about the process, or if you wanted information about the role and the expectations that you would need to meet if you were to be a part of the role, feel free to send any of us an email out. If any of you are interested in being the vice president and you want to shoot me an email, I could set up a one-on-one with you and answer any questions that you'd have. But yeah, no, I'm just excited to get some new blood in student leadership. It's gonna be good. And I'm sad that I'm stepping down, but it's time for me to move on. I got one final round of classes to go and then I'm graduating, so it's just time for me to go.
I'm gonna do the same thing that Michael said. I'd love to talk to anyone who's interested in the treasurer role. And then sadly, I just stepped down due to unexpected, like my transfer timeline. So I won't be able to commit to a full year, so I just stepped down.
Nick is in Lansing for an award right now. But he is stepping down as well from his communications director position. But yeah, we have the applications open until March 31st and interviews will be held in April. To hopefully have the new members start in May. It is a paid position. They're all paid positions. It's around 2,400 per semester. Yeah, and it's divided in 3 payments. So, I mean, if anyone is interested, let us know, email us, hit us up, anything. But yeah.
Is that gonna be also on later connect to provisions?
Yeah, it should be promoted on Raider Connect. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we have to share at the moment. Is there any comments, questions, concerns? All right, we can move on to our treasurer's report and Hector can take that over.
Cool, so the current available funds are at $10,574.33. And we have 1 allocation request this week. And Ashby, would you like to take it away?
Sure. Our allocation is for the social fest in April. We're asking for 4,500 and the layout for the budget is like printed out as well. It's honestly mostly Amazon stuff that's going to be, and even though we are using a lot of the previous year's decorations and even the banners we're not doing this year, we're gonna be using last year's. It still comes down to the souvenirs because it's gonna be a lot of attendance. Last year was like around 300 people who came. So keeping that in mind, a lot of the souvenirs and snacks we buy needs to be according to that. Last year, we did put the budget down a little bit this year because, you know, it's a bit kind of, I'm sorry, can you just speak up a little bit more? Sure. So as I said, the major expense for this budget is going to be the Amazon stuff because we are buying for 10 booths and 2 of the booths are like new booths, so we don't have any decorations for them, so they're gonna have a bigger budget. A lot of the other ones have a smaller budget just because they just have to buy souvenirs or some decorations that we didn't have last year, like or whatever. The rest is like the restaurant stuff. Last year we had 5 restaurant booths for like 5 of the booths. This year we're only doing 3. And yeah, and the rest, like the photography, that was a big expense, but Student Life is sponsoring us with that. For Fieldhouse is a big expense and ODI is paying for that. And then it's just promotions, Dollar Tree stuff, so like flowers, we buy like real flowers for the day of. A lot of the foods kind of have them as the cultural representation. And some of them maybe like, you know, tablecloths, very light, those are very tiny expenses, but they do add up when you buy for 10 booths and stuff like that. And we are gonna have a raffle this year where we're gonna make like these tiny passports and you have to get stamps from each country. And then like after a week, we'll take out a raffle that will have more attendance and there'll be more promotions.
That's really cool.
Are there any open questions for this particular allocation request?
Can we just mention a couple other things? So we have been doing fundraising also, both since last semester and this semester. Bree might have more specific details about how much we've raised, but we've been doing like henna, fundraisers, and we've been doing, just inventory that we've had from the past, to raise awareness and to raise funds for the event, so.
And
Yeah.
so the specific fund for the henna fundraiser was $175. And we are doing 4 fundraisers this month, every Tuesday. And so far, I think, sorry, on Tuesday, we had around $100. So let's hope for like that's consistent. And those will be used as a buffer or any last minute purchases that, you know, because it is a big event and things can add up even with, I have things planned out, but things can happen. Like a lot of the Amazon stuff, sometimes it's on sale, but sometimes sales go off, so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to control that.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of enthusiasm about the event, so we're expecting a good turnout again this year too.
If I want to stop by your fundraising event, where would I find you guys?
So they're all at different locations.
Okay.
This week, for tomorrow, 12:30 to 3, we're doing it in G2 RGF, like right outside the subway.
Okay.
And then I think the week after that, I have it like written down and everything. So next week, it's the science building, first floor, Tuesday, 12:30 to 3. And then the last week of March, it's Cook, I think it's right here, Cook Building, first floor.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, and we've also held this event the past 2 years, and we've had big turnouts and a lot of, engagement. And we think that it's just a good way to get the community together and celebrate the diversity that we have here on campus, because it's not always able to be expressed. We have a lot of diversity, and it's a really great thing that we have, and it's not always able to be expressed. So it's a really good event for everyone in the community to get together and to, yeah, celebrate each other's cultures and share and learn and.
We are also collaborating with BASU. They will be doing the Congo booth for this year. And that's one of the new booths. Another booth is doing Ukraine. It's in Italy this year.
I got a question. Just for clarification, it's gonna be 12 to 4.
12 to 4, yes.
Okay.
April 8th, 12 to 4.
Yep, and y'all said that y'all been fundraising since last semester and this semester.
Yep.
Y'all started right after the Culture Fest last semester?
No, last semester wasn't the Cultural Fest. So the Cultural Fest is every year in April. And last semester we had a Korean kind of get together. Right after that, we had some fundraisers from there. And then we started again earlier before spring break. We had the henna fundraisers. So that kind of added up, and now we're doing another snacks kind of fundraisers again.
Yeah, we had another event that was kind of like a holiday get together that just was an open event. Yeah, that wasn't specifically for the cultural festival, but yeah.
I want to just, point out how in favor of this, I am, all things considered. A lot of people who have, gone to a lot of these town halls know that I'm a bit hesitant to spend large amounts of money. And I've always been more fiscally conservative when, weighing options, but based on what I saw last year with the popularity of the cultural festival, based on the work that I've seen, put into fundraising and collaboration with other groups and just, all the hard work you guys have put in, as far as budget planning and the breakdown, as far as everything goes. I'm really impressed that things are looking as good as they are, and I think that this cultural festival is shaping up to be even better than last year's. And so I'm super excited. I think that this is a good use of the funding. I just wanted to pass my endorsement and just say that this is one of my most anticipated events of the year. It was so much fun last time. Are there any other questions or comments before we put it up to a vote? All right, then, as per usual, we'll start with the ayes. Just raise your hand if you're in favor of approving the $4,500 for the allocation request. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then do we have any opposed? Does not appear to be, so the motion will pass unanimously and the allocation has been approved. Congratulations.
Congrats.
We have some more promotional stuff coming out, so you'll see that. But yeah, like we said, April 8th, 12 to 4.
Hope you know.
Hope to see you all there.
Do you just want to like quickly share out all the countries that are being
Yes.
represented?
So we have India, South Korea, China, Mexico, France, Ukraine, Haiti, Congo, Dominican Republic, and Iraq.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Well, congrats on that. It was,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah. I know we have so many cool events at JRCC and like not to compare one to the other, but I think the cultural festival is like the biggest event at JRCC and the most exciting since it just brings in so many characteristics in one. But yeah.
I was working at Meyer a couple weekends ago and I sold a large amount of walkie-talkies and microphones to an individual who came, I guess, from California for a Hispanic cultural event that was being held that month. And they had heard of the cultural festival here because people have been buzzing and talking about it. So you guys really make a splash with this event and it's a really good, it's just a really good event. I think it's great.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to point out that like your hard work has been noticed by a ton of people.
And then just one last thing, do you want to share what countries you're ordering catering for?
Yes, they are Mexico, India, and South Korea. The food for them are like not been decided yet because we want to get the allocation done before we have something finalized, but what if, like, as a draft, we know that India is gonna have some like to-go kind of foods, because you can't have like a plate and stuff in a walking kind of event. So we might do like some biryani or like tandoori chicken and stuff. And South Korea, I believe we're doing kimbap and tteokbokki because they are again a little walking snack. Mexico, we're not so sure about. We're still working on it.
Yeah, no. Well, thank you. Well, now that that's our next update, well, our next agenda item is opportunity for public comment. If anyone wanted to share anything about literally anything that you have in your mind.
Yeah, I have a question. Is anybody thinking of throwing an event for Women's History Month? No, okay. Well, I just want to let you guys know that BASU at our next E-board meeting will be discussing a possible event to promote Women's History. So you guys should be hearing about that in the future, possibly. Can't say too much, but I want to, so, yes.
I will speak to one event too, actually two. So, from the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, we will have a celebratory or recognition of our women advocates, empowerment leaders on campus. So that's our Salute to Women event. So all students are welcome. We try to promote it to all students as well as staff and faculty, but it's a chance to recognize 4 categories of different leaders, whether they're current employee, past employee, student, and alumna. So that's something that will come March 28th. So you'll get notifications for that. And then we have our last diversity lecture series speaker. So her name is Kim Dabbs. So we have also a chance to give away her book. So if you're interested in that, let me know. So she just published a book about belonging, and she will be located in Germany, but we'll have like a watch party style up on Sneeden. So if you're interested in that as well, that will be March 21st. And you can come join us for lunch and watch or listen to the author of Kim Dabbs and get a chance to get her book. So those are 2 things that are connected to what you're asking. So the diversity lecture series is from noon to 1. And then Salute to Women is also during the lunch hour from noon to 1:30.
Thanks. Thank you. Any more
I know, one more
announcements?
Go ahead, y'all go first.
All right, so Standout is having an event on campus. It is like a name change event. We're just trying to promote that you can change your name through campus, kind of like, not like legally, like through like IDs and stuff, but like like for your student ID and your student email, we're doing it mainly kind of like, so trans people know that they can do this, but also like, so if anyone else is like having difficulty with their name, like, let's say you get a divorce and you don't want that last name in there anymore, and yeah, that's all. It's gonna be on, Tuesday, March 19th, 4 to 6 p.m. and, RJF 275, room 275.
March 19th, what time did you say?
4 to 6 p.m.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm advertising one of our events that's coming up on April 5th. It's a Friday. Nice Rocks is going to have a field trip, a day trip to Ann Arbor University of Michigan's Natural History Museum. So the capacity for the bus we're renting is 48 students, and we have like maybe 60 or so people in our club that probably won't be able to come. So I'm advertising it now. If anybody's interested, you can join our club for the purpose of going on the trip, just so it's easier for Student Life to process the paperwork. But yeah, that'll be an all-day endeavor from 8 a.m. to, I think we'll get back to campus around 4. Nobody has to worry about transportation since we're using a rental bus. But again, you can drive separately if you'd like. I just, run it by me, Student Life, and that'll work.
And where is that heading to again? I'm sorry.
The University of Michigan's Natural History Museum in Ann Arbor.
I see. And I just because I'm totally out of the loop when it comes to geology stuff, what is it about this museum that makes it like a cool spot to visit? Is there like an attraction or a exhibit that is particularly interesting, or?
I've never been there myself, so I can't speak specifically to what's there, but my vice president, Yasmina Zimmer, she had an internship in Ann Arbor this past summer, and she said that it's fantastic. It's a natural history museum, so you're gonna see a lot of biological, physical exhibits of like minerals, rocks, taxonomy. Wait, I don't know if I'm using the right word, stuffed animals.
Taxidermy.
Yeah.
Taxidermy, not taxonomy. I haven't actually seen any exhibits yet. I don't know what they'll have, but, we'll advertise. I'm just trying to get together all the paperwork right now. It's a process. But anyway,
Thank
feel
you.
free, everybody.
Okay, 2 things. If you need help, just let me know, and I will try as much as I can to help you with paperwork or anything. Because it is a process. And the second thing is, so with that allocation being approved, that leaves, what happens with the leftover money if there's still a budget? And it's the end of the semester. Does it roll over to the next budget for the next year, or?
Yeah, so, to speak to that a little bit more, or I guess, you know what, Hector, you wanna take this?
I know, that's
I
right.
can try. See what I know. Yeah, it does roll over, whatever's not spent for next year.
The first town hall of every year, is the town hall where we do the budget proposal, and we show you how much money we're gonna have total in the pool for the next 2 semesters. And you'll see exactly how much of that was rollover from the previous year, and then new money from the campus activities fee. And then sections of that get distributed to CAB and Student Life and other different budget lines, but all that gets voted on by you guys at the town hall for whether that gets approved or denied. And then it works from there. But I guess the short answer is yes, any remaining funds get rolled into that new fund for the next semester. The money never goes away.
Thank you.
I know we started this year with around 33,000. And that included the money from the campus activities fee that students pay into, plus the rollover. And it looks like we might roll over with around $5,000 around there. So it'll be that $5,000 plus the money generated from the campus activities fee. Yep.
I have a question, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the campus activity fee going up because when we were like talking about that?
We don't know that for certain yet. We submitted our proposal to the board of trustees. It hasn't been approved or denied yet.
Yeah, we'll find out in May, their final decision, but it's being equalized from $5 part-time students to $10 across the board, part-time and full-time. So, yeah, we'll keep you guys updated when we find out the result. But yeah,
If you're a full-time student, you should not notice any increase from what you've been paying into that.
any more comments, questions, free promo? Anything? If not.
Yes, I have one more. Sorry.
You're fine.
This is not to exclude anyone, but I would really appreciate it if we could like get, I don't know, like a once every 2 months or once a month, a meeting with all of the presidents of the orgs, just so we can all just talk with each other and just figure out the visions of the orgs and how we can assist each other. So just to fight against any competition mindset, rather collaborative mindset. So yeah, I think that would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk with Ashley and like compile a list of all the presidents. We can make a group chat or something.
How do we do?
Google chat, but yeah. No, I like the idea. Yeah. Any final comments, any last announcements? If not, I can pass it to Michael and he can start our conversation topics.
Sure. So we've got 2 conversation topics. These are just things that are in the pipeline that we're gonna need some help and some feedback for. So without further ado, let's get started with our first one. Summer funding request, additional money to meet the needs of the student block party. Let's just start with who here in the room attended the block party last summer? I've got 1, 2, 3, I did. Anyone over here? Do you guys know what the block party is? Okay,
I don't.
okay,
Oh, yeah,
what'd you say?
was it at the beginning of the semester?
Beginning of the summer, it was like the last week of summer, when we had all those tables out. Yeah. So, the block party is basically like the organization's first opportunity for the year to introduce themselves to the graded student population. Last year, we had a row of tables set out and each individual org had their own little table or their own little booth. CAD had their own little table and their own little booth. And, we had events and food and, it was basically a way for clubs and orgs to advertise to the students early, and it's a really big event. Am I missing anything, Ashley, or is that a good synopsis of it?
Similar to involvement
Yeah. So, effectively what happened last semester, is as we were getting close to the date, of the block party, a couple of orgs requested some initial funding to set up that, tabling event. And because we were in the middle of the summer and all of the orgs were in active hibernation, there wasn't an avenue for individuals to, do allocation requests or revenue requests, because that stuff doesn't happen during the summer semester, or at least it didn't last summer. So we pulled together a small fund of, I believe it was around $200. I forget where exactly that money came from, whether it was just the rollover fee, or kind of an advance.
It was a budget line a new budget line y'all approved at that.
I
in the
see.
fall.
But what that accomplished is it gave those orgs the roughly $20 a piece just to get that set up, and a few student orgs utilized it. and there were many who didn't. So coming into the conversation now, we basically want to get ahead of that and see if there's something that we can get rolling initially, so that we don't run into the same problems we had last summer. So we were wondering what the need for funding for this block party would be, if clubs had an idea of how much money they would request for an activity such as that, and whether or not we should set aside a particular amount of money for each club or org in the interest of providing that for the block party. So is that accurate? Am I in the right range here? Yeah. So I open the floor to you. What do you guys think? Is anyone making block party preparations right now?
No, because we didn't know what date it was. For
It's-
next year.
It's always the Saturday before fall start. So I don't think any promo has happened yet, but we're just trying to get ahead of this because summer is happening quick. And money, as you know, like the college turns over like funding, and so we want to get ahead of it and not be in a pickle.
I think that's a great idea, to try to put some money set aside for all student groups, and the reason being is because you'll have new groups coming aboard that does not know about the block party. And so everyone won't be last minute, and kind of nice to put that money aside, and whoever does musicals, like.
Give me 1 second. I want to find list here. So at least by my numbers, looks like we've got somewhere close to 26 active student orgs. Is that accurate? For this semester? And so when we're talking about how much money to set aside for each org, and the idea being we want to give every org the same amount of money. What is it that you think that you would ask for an event like this? Would you prefer like $20 or $50? I know you ask for the moon, but keep in mind that this will have to get approved in a budget line, and then it'll have to get distributed equally amongst all of the different orgs.
150 to 2 is fair.
What did you say?
200 is fair per group.
200 is fair per group? So. Yeah, so that's $5,200 to be set aside.
150 to 200 should be 150 to 200. 150 to 2 should be max. They should not need more than that.
Well, I'm saying if you're giving 150 to 200 to each org, that's about $5,200.
That's about right.
What about another suggestion, if you hold like a deadline for the clubs to register, that way you know that like no amounts. To estimate based off who is going to guarantee they want to participate. To, meet the deadline that you're expecting from each org.
I'm gonna write that down. I like that.
You know what? $100. They go to the dollar store. I think that, yeah, because if you got 26 groups, you're right, that comes from your budget.
So just to put that into perspective, that would mean we would separate almost every penny that we have left over this semester just for this one event.
Yeah.
Which I think might be a bit too much. Being honest.
We're guessing that one wants to attend.
What's the, we did $100 in clubs and only 20 over 26, it's still $2,000, that's a big, around 5,000 lots. So, I mean,
You had a comment, Becca?
Well, it's just a question. So, like Sydney was suggesting for the registration, because this is done the first week before the first week of school, right?
Mhm.
When would you expect the registration to be done by? The last week of this semester?
don't know.
So
Do you
I
know?
can speak to, like, summer registration will go open, at the beginning of April. And there you can indicate interest and commitment to the block party. And then again in August, so early August, fall registration will open for clubs. Cause not everybody's gonna be active over the summer.
Yeah.
So it'll be like a last call.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. How do you know that?
Yeah.
So question, Ashley, what if groups are not active for summer, but then they come back for early registration?
So they'll get that last call. We'll try to catch them in the beginning because you can still go dormant over summer but want to participate in block party. But then we'll be in touch again. So certainly things might change, people change, totally.
Yes.
I had a comment, I'm just thinking like for art club. Our club is the National Honor Society for Psychology students specifically. And that out of like all of the different majors and everything is very specific to some students. I doubt we would need as like $200. Is there a way maybe we can select the amount we would probably want to request? So like you can range it from like 50 to 100 to 150 to 200. And that way it kind of helps you guys gauge as well how much you would need to allocate for that.
Can I ask for your specific or what you would estimate to be what you would need for the block party? If it was just like a one-on-one thing, no policy thing, what would you want to have a successful block party?
Basically to advertise our club, I would just want, you know, like a poster board. So it's like a poster board, all the materials to make it, all the printouts and everything, maybe like $20 or something. Maybe if we wanted like stickers or something to hand out, that would be another 20 something bucks. And so it's like, I doubt we would use up an entire $200 worth of funds. And I think if you tell us like, hey, we're gonna give you guys $200 to put on a cool booth. And we're like, okay, and so we do things, and then at that point, we're thinking about filler things, like, okay, we have $200, let's try to spend it all. Whereas if we go in maybe with the mindset of, okay, well, we don't really need all this money, like, let's just try to do what we can and not limit ourselves, but also not try to spend more for the sake of just spending more. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to compromise with that a little bit. What, sorry. What if, you guys set the cap to 100? And if people wanted anything over 100, then they would have to provide an allocation, like with the money breakdown of everything they'll need it for. So we can prevent that from happening, and people just asking for money just cause. So yeah, just make a cap, and if you need anything more than this, then we'll need a complete breakdown of everything you need it for. That's an option.
I guess to a similar, cause you kind of gave me a really good idea. I guess I'm curious as to why we don't just accept allocation requests over the summer for this particular thing. I guess the idea is that we're trying to dedicate an amount of money to be put into a fund specifically for that. Is that kind of right, or?
I think the other thing is like participation in the summer is so different that like you're gonna have 0 to a few students voting on money, where all students should be a part of that conversation.
Well, those allocation requests would be lower than $1,000, so those typical allocations would go almost exclusively with the student government anyway.
Yes,
And student government should be active during the summer.
and they will be.
Yes. So,
So I think having a process makes sense, and this is just new, so we'd
Yeah,
be
okay.
developing it together,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is good.
But yeah, with allocated for class specifically, like, I'm not sure if that would be the route, but.
For the organizations here, what would you buy or what would you get for the block party if you were to host a booth?
Swag.
Swag?
I was gonna say, yeah, this is honestly will be my first time doing it, so, yeah, like probably I will have to just decide what would I want people to see BASU as if they're a new student coming into college for the first time, and then figure out what we would need from there, so I can't say from the top of my head.
Yeah, I think speaking from past experience is basically you want to attract people to your table.
Mhm.
So it's what you have. You can have swag, you can have water bottle. It's something that you want people to come to your table, stop by and ask you a question. That's why we have a lot of organization that usually buy stuff that's gonna give people attention. Oh, I want that. Let me know more about it, let me know about your organization. Then we give her something back. So that's what usually people do, just to buy stuff that we give people to your table and get people sign on a paper and give them something back, like a souvenir.
Yeah, yeah, like for example, our booth, we had like inflatables and like an inflatable flamingo and like a palm tree with drinks and all of our swag on the table. And how, do you guys remember how much we spent? Like,
I think we spent
400, 300,
something like that.
around there, so. Yeah, I guess it really depends on what you're looking for, and like to Katya's point, maybe you don't need all that.
Alyssa's not here, but I think CAB did like a whole big thing, like totally separate. They had like this huge booming, like, didn't they get like food vendors or something like that, or was that student?
No, they hired Kona Ice,
Yeah,
so all students could like get a shaved ice.
And like
Yeah.
a
So,
campus.
and they have a budget for that, like
yeah,
that's
they
their
have
job,
like a
so it's
dedicated budget.
totally a different scale.
Yeah.
I can't say we'll do this in the summer, but I know Standout somehow had possession of a pin making machine, so we might like get supplies for pins, so we like make pins for students if they wanna come on and just like grab something.
Do you have any idea how much supplies for that would cost?
I'm not really an expert on that personally, like how much, I mean, I could ask them, maybe like even suggest it for them.
We're just trying to grab figures, and this is all in like very early development. We,
Oh, yeah, totally, like, this will definitely be like a thing to think about for
Yeah.
months to come, so.
we got time, which is the good thing, the advantage of time.
I have to head out, but I understand the vision of this, like you want to promote us and you want new students to join groups, because they're paying for it regardless. So, just an idea, giving out free money is, can always be tricky, so you guys can always create, like, you guys at each student org at least needs to have this if they want to get the free money that we're giving out, like pins, water bottles. They at least need to have these things if they want this free allocation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I missed it, like, so, like, I mean, so is for the block party, is it like the overall theme of it, or is like everybody having like, they just get like swag or stuff for just put to the table, invite something, or is it like an overall? No,
It's an organized event. You talk with Student Life and they give you a booth and they like give you a space, and then you're with all the other. So it's not like an individual thing. It's a big event.
Yeah,
Does that answer the question?
yeah, well, cause you know, like, it's like an open house. Okay, yeah, it's like an open house, okay, perfect. Thank you.
So there's a lot going on, but you would have your own thing going.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. So the student orgs have their own tent and then come out to that. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was asking, cause it's like a big college, like the school is putting it on, too, so.
Yeah, maybe when we make registration live, we can put some photos of past events like this, so you can get a better idea of like how to plan and dream this up for yourselves.
So what's happening is in the summertime, so the orbs don't run, so you might have black card running, but then you have some orbs have everything looking nice on their tables and some just trying to be. Okay, yeah. And so that's what we're like, what you're here, like she's trying to put internationalism, and if they get money from, in college, where the students all struggle trying to make their table. Okay, and so they're saying how much per group would that, would you need to make your table? Okay. Okay.
So it might be another topic for the next town hall too, just to come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad to hear that there seems, at least to me, to be a lot more interest in the block party than there was last year, which makes me feel excited, because we filled up those 2 tents last year, so we could go even bigger this time around.
Yeah.
Is there any more comments about this one before we shift to our next topic? Yes.
Where is the block party held?
Last year, it was held right in the courtyard. Right. Yep, and they closed down the whole thing for it. There was a couple food stalls, there was music, I think. It was a good time. We attempted, this is actually a kind of funny bit of background stuff. We attempted to get a dunk tank rented out for the event, because we thought it would be funny, and it ended up being a significantly larger hassle than we had initially planned for. And so we ended up shelving that idea, but we tried to make it like a big event type thing, and we ended up deciding against that last minute. But tons of free form on how you can choose to advertise your club to new students coming in, and it's a really fun event. So I think it'll be good.
I think last year was the best turnout that we had. It was beautiful.
It was fun. I met a lot of students, which was cool.
The rice was so good.
The rice? Oh, yeah, I didn't have.
Do we have any more comments about this one before we move on to our final thing?
I missed the rice.
Yeah.
Alrighty. This will be our last point of conversation before we introduce Dr. Lepper. This one's for allocation requests under $1,000 no longer being publicly presented at town halls. So to add a bit more kind of information to that, as you guys know, the way the current system is set up and organized is the allocation requests that are $1,000 or over are presented to the town hall. The organization in question has the opportunity to give feedback and give additional information, and then the individuals present at the town hall vote on the town hall. You may have noticed that's what happened with the $4,500 allocation today. However, allocation requests under $1,000 are voted on strictly just among the town hall, not the town hall, strictly among the members of student government. And what we did last semester and what we do on the off weeks when we don't have town halls, because we get an influx of these allocation requests, is we review them and then we approve them or deny them. Because we saw the opportunity for a lot more individuals to come through, this semester and last semester, we started publicly reviewing the smaller $50, couple $100 allocations. And despite the fact that no one at the town hall was able to vote on those allocations, we still talked about them and voted on them as a table of 4. The consensus among student government is that this is kind of awkward. It breaks up the monotony and it takes up more time, especially on days where we could have 5+ lower allocation requests that don't need to be reviewed by the greater town hall. And I feel like now everybody has seen how we do it and we've demonstrated that. And so we wanted to collect feedback on whether you guys cared about seeing the review process for these smaller applications. So, yes.
So I think, it would actually be a bad thing to do that.
Okay.
Just because, like in this room, more or less, we know how the process works. But like me a year ago, who started going to the town halls, if this was, you know, being a thing back then, I would have never known how to get my club the funds that they need.
Okay.
Because I just don't know the process. And I know before, you guys have said that maybe there's like budget training that clubs can get. Maybe if that was offered for sure, like a clear outline of how to request funds and do things and
Yes.
all of that, then that, I guess it would be okay to do it. But I think sometimes it's just hard to get the information out to clubs and it's one thing to learn it like through a video or a sheet or something. And then another thing to like sit here and then listen to you guys explain it.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, even though we can't vote, we can still see it.
Yeah, so if I could add on that, I actually just completed like a slideshow to help, kind of like a how-to of how to request funds for your club. And I just, like you said, how it's more beneficial to talk about it in person, so clubs can be aware. I agree with that. But just so you're aware, we will have better online how-tos for how to request funds. Keep an eye out for that.
And it's also worth pointing out that as of this semester, budget training has been a requirement for any org attempting to submit an allocation request. So I think more of the argument was just for, we're always going to have allocation request reviews during town hall. They're never going to be going away. But is it worth spending 10 or so minutes of our time on $100 allocation request? Or in the case of even like 2 weeks ago, $353 or so allocation request from BASU. When you guys don't get the opportunity to provide input or feedback, and it's only the members of town hall voting to approve or deny them. I think the idea would just be like, there's probably a better way to utilize the time. But no matter what, those larger allocations are never gonna go away. We're always going to have discussion. We're always going to be presenting those. But, I guess that's more of what I was trying to say. Yes.
Alright, so then if that's kind of the move you guys wanna go towards, would it be possible to move any allocations you guys have approved or denied into the announcement section? So that way, like, we still know kind of what you guys are agreeing to or denying. But it won't take up as much time as you discussing it and then asking those questions or whatever, because the decision is already made. So, yeah.
So the suggestion would be just to add in the town hall agenda towards the end, the approvals or denials of allocation requests that were made the week before or so. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think that would make sense to see like in the budget update where there's a gap, like that speaks directly to, that would be, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna write that down.
So you enjoy like the transparency of,
Yeah, just knowing what's going on.
I think it's good to like inform people of future events. It's another good thing.
David?
I was just gonna second, actually down to the summary idea, I had the same thought. It's nice to see what is expected in allocation requests, but yes, it does take up a fair amount of time. So, summarizing at the beginning with like, it was approved because we liked this, or disapproved because there wasn't an exact layout that was used, the exact layout wasn't used. I think that would be very nice.
Yeah, like, I'm specifically thinking about that time with the chessboard. And we spent like, I think, an hour or something like that, talking about it, so that was 1 out of like 2 hours that we have.
That was an allocation over $1,000.
Yeah.
So those would never go away.
Okay,
But like, if BASU wanted to submit an allocation for $53 for one of their events, you know, that's more of what would be moving on to that summary page that you're talking about. What did we do recently? I can't remember, I'm sorry.
I think it was like 250.
Or for standout, or was that for another? Fitness, yeah.
Not so, yes, but yeah, it could just be in the treasurer's report to like see the difference in money.
Yeah, we definitely started with that now.
That way there's still transparency and everyone knows what's going on, but we can utilize the time a bit more efficiently. Right. Is anyone just not in favor of that idea? Do you think that that's a bad idea?
So long you share it where everyone can see it,
Alright. Does anyone have any alternative ideas that they wanna spitball while we're here, or is this kinda? I'm just trying to buy time for 15 minutes, honestly, I don't want to say anything. Yes, awesome.
A suggestion is, because I'm like a visual learner, maybe we could see, compare and contrast the semesters of, types of allocations that have been approved. Briefly stand, like, this is what we can see more that works, that gets more of the students aware of, or so aware of this, aware of who the government, part of like what they're expecting from us. Also, I like the idea how the emails, the newsletters show so much stuff, so that's really good. I really appreciate that, because I actually read that thoroughly to know what to expect or what's going on. If I can't make it here. So, telling y'all that was what's up. But, maybe seeing like how much the money you like not used over the years and how much like have used. I'm saying like, this is what we notice when we are max or near max. Where we could maybe open up the floor for suggestions of how to go about using what hasn't been used, or just getting more familiar with money matters. Of like what it takes to be an org or be in the leadership roles, dealing with the positions and how to be strategic and get more confident in yourselves of how to allocate, how to put on programs or events. And what it's like, you know, including the population of the students.
I highly endorse pretty much everything you just said there. It's that kind of thinking and mindset that got us on the track that we've started on with, like, putting the amounts of current available funds in the treasurer's report every single week so that we have that additional transparency. You know, it was important for us to have that kind of mindset as we were trying our best to learn how to manage the budget without a treasurer before Hector came in. Yes, to basically everything you said, I'm with you there. I want to emphasize that this suggestion that we put on the table wasn't made to attempt to hide anything, and we want to always continue to be transparent with the students on how we're spending the money, because it's your guys' money that's being spent, like you guys paid into it, and it should be students and orgs that receive the benefits from this money. So I'm with you there.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, just to clarify though, like, one of the first points you made, you were talking about like being able to see like all the past approved or unapproved requests. Is that what you kind of were trying to? get to?
No, I think that was this young lady that was saying that about like announcing what you guys have approved or what allocations were not. I was more saying of a visual of just seeing over time. This is the budget we started with.
Yeah.
This is how we ended with the semester. This is how we ended with the year.
Mhm.
And it could be at like the first meeting, or it's just like, you know, everybody that wants to know that are here. To know how the money has been going and a system, just to see or
Yeah,
reflect. And if they're new, they can see how, when you're involved, how it can work in your favor if you like speak up or, you know, want to put on different events that have not been, presented. So it's a chance for them to see what has been common, what has not been done, or what can we bring that's new.
Yeah, no, I really like that idea, and I could put something together like that to help show like what has been done, like make a digital diagram to show like even the flow of the money, so you can get a visual representation of.
Like it just
what's
showed
going
like
on.
this was more of how many events were academic focused, how many were like festive focused, incentive focused, career focused, just different things to allow the student org to see what they can bring from, what they can add on to their org, or what they can also bring to the student government.
Yeah, definitely, great idea.
Where would you want that information presented or available? Like, would it be most convenient to have it at our town halls or Greater Connect or through email?
Well, if you did like so I'm just thinking like how my band does like an end of the year as
Yeah.
summary. If you wanted to say this is like in the beginning of the semester, but how it looks at the end of the year. And then you have that maybe on Greater Connect that anybody wants to look to see as like if it's a slideshow or if it's just a document. And it just shows like maybe a chart or information, not too much, because you know, too much could be overwhelming with our students.
Yeah.
But it's just a summary. that was saying like, this is what we started with in 2023. This is how it ended, then this is what the start for 2024. Or if you wanted to go back 5 years, you could do that too, but it's just like a document that you can rely on. And then as the semesters progress, they change, like you remove that one, add the other one, or you put it in a hard drive.
It's worth pointing out that for the first town hall of the year, when we did the budget proposal, we had prepared a slideshow with the help of Sheena that did show last year's budget compared to the new budget and the changes between the two, specifically for the purposes of transparency.
Yeah.
And then in conjunction with that, it's admittedly very difficult to parse the information if you don't know exactly how to look at it. But in Raider Connect, the student activities fee budget is always there in a spreadsheet at the bottom of the homepage for you to look at, and that'll give you like the overtime, every expense that gets pulled out of that campus activities fee.
Oh, okay.
For people to review over the course of the semester.
Okay, so we already have something. Okay.
Yes,
Well,
it's
yeah,
not
the
perfect.
information is there.
Yeah, the information is there. It's not easy to parse.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's a big spreadsheet with a lot of numbers and it's so confusing. We have a guide just to look at it.
So what I'm saying is like, maybe like, just one for just us to just like scam at or.
Fair
just,
enough.
like, you know, a little key card.
Or a pie chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to piggyback off Sydney, I really, like the idea what she's bringing to the table because we have to, yeah, let's go ahead and put it in a spot. But we have to also consider the students, like Sydney is saying, that's not visual. You know, so maybe keeping both running, so we're not taking away that opportunity for the ones that want to, for us to talk about. Because you might have, you know, we here have been doing it for a couple semesters, where we're used to it. But think about it, we're making decisions for the new ones that's coming.
Yeah.
And so maybe having both opportunities always available every semester with both, you know.
I think to that point, I think the idea, at least running through the semester when we started is because this semester was the first semester we ever reviewed the smaller allocations publicly. We only ever reviewed them largely, but we wanted to show students and demonstrate how things worked on the back end, and we wanted to have that transparency. So we were like, okay, let's do that for the first couple of weeks just to demonstrate the process. And then we just never stopped. And we noticed it cannibalizing time. And so I think that's where the conversation kind of started through. But
Look how the groups have grown though.
yeah.
Like, you doing that, look how many groups you have.
To your point, I think that if nothing else, it will be worth for the next semester and the moving semesters, and this will be a choice that future student government will make. Reviewing the smaller allocations for the first few weeks of a semester again, but maybe only doing that the first couple of times and then not making it a permanent part of each individual town hall, you know, like $700 allocations every week. It's the process can be made to be more efficient. While still getting that information out there and still, like you said, at least for the first couple of times, utilizing that time to demonstrate it at least once or twice so that clubs can understand how it works on the back end. But I think that we made really good steps with requiring budget training to be something that orgs have to do in order to submit allocation requests. And I think that what Hector's working on the back end with how to submit an allocation request is going to be super helpful as well for getting that information in our students' hands. So yeah, do we have any other comments or questions about this one in particular? We're kind of just racing the 5-minute clock before Dr. Lepper gets here. Did everyone who wanted food get an opportunity to snack some food? That's good. How do we think about it? Was it good?
Yeah. It was very festive, you know, put us in the season.
It's getting warmer out. It's good time for barbecue, right? Oh, you do, all right, well, as if right on schedule, right on cue. Yeah, we just finished up. We'll make space for you. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Lepper. For everybody, if you want to, have a seat next to Alex there. Great. And good for everyone. Thank you. How is everyone?
Good.
So,
All right.
good. So what's the medallion, Nick?
I was awarded as a member of Phi Theta Kappa as
Oh.
the All Michigan Academic Team.
Congratulations, that's an honor.
Thank you. The idea that the only day that it's appropriate to wear the medallion and the medal is the day that it's given to you.
Okay.
So I decided I'm gonna wear it for the rest of the day.
You should. Congratulations.
Well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I feel like I'm sitting like really low. There we go. So,
Yeah. Well,
so much better.
yeah, do you just want to get right in?
Sure. So for those of you who don't know, I'm President Lepper. I'm the president of the college. I've been here a little over a year now. Feels like coming on to a year and a half. And so since I've been president, we've been doing these really about the last year. And this is an opportunity for me to hear from students and hear your concerns, hear what's going well, what we need to improve upon. And so I know you have some questions for me. So do you want to go by the list that you gave me, or do you want to?
Yeah, before we start though, could we just say our first names
Sure.
so Dr. Lepper knows who we are?
Yeah, I'm Pearson from the Collegiate.
Yep.
I'm Ashpreet Kaur with International Language Club.
Say the first name again.
Ashpreet.
Ashpreet, nice meeting you.
David Hahn from Foreign Affairs Club.
Everything. Sydney from DASU.
Say that again.
Sydney from.
Sydney.
Sydney.
Oh.
Sydney.
Sydney.
Yes.
Okay, there's like a fan right here that's,
Like the city in Australia.
yeah, Sydney.
And I'm from the DASU.
Great.
Oh, yes, it's Dave, Pitt State.
Okay.
I'm Valerie, I'm student life.
Valerie,
Need Clay, financially.
yeah, I know you too.
Ashley.
I know you too.
My name is Katya, I'm from Psi Beta.
Hi, Tatia.
Katya?
Katia, nice meeting you.
I'm Remy, I'm from Standout.
Great. I know Nick. I know these.
And I'm Alex.
Hector coming as well.
Say,
Hector?
Hector, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
good guy. Just wanted
We
to-
remember. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what it is, how you want to do this.
Yeah, well, we had some questions that we compiled from our last town hall.
Okay,
And our first question centers around student pay, since that's a bit of a conversation that
Mhm.
some students still have an interest in. And the question is essentially student pay.
Mhm.
Any new news past student parking?
No, there is not any additional news on that. What I can share with you is that as we have looked at student pay with other institutions in the Grand Rapids area, we are actually a little bit higher than other institutions. And so while we appreciate the question, right now we feel what we're able to pay folks is appropriate for what we're asking folks to do. But that doesn't mean it can't be an ongoing conversation. And part of what we did, for those of you who may not have been part of the conversation, is that the Student Association asked for an increase in pay. And one of the things that I learned in the process of that is our student employees, when they were coming to work on campus and days that they were not in class, we were still charging them $3.50 a day to park. So what we've done to incentivize on-campus employment is that we've given student employees free parking. And so actually that was more than what was being asked for, increasing the hourly pay, because you'd have to pay taxes on the hourly pay. And so giving free parking is in essence, putting $3.50 a day that you work, or, you know, if you're here every day, that works out to be more than if we were to have increased your pay and then reduce taxes out of that. So we tried to find a workable solution to benefit our students who worked on campus.
I guess one of the interesting things that we discovered, and I know we spoke on this previously, that we found out that individuals who work for like the book store or the subway down on G2 don't end up getting their student parking waived because they don't, I guess, officially work for the college because the bookstore is owned by Barnes and Nobles and the subway is a Subway. And so I guess the next kind of natural progression for maybe what we could do would be seeing about maybe offering students who are in the bookstore and the subway some assistance for that. If there's anything
Not
to
just
be done.
employees, but all campus jobs.
Okay, I wasn't aware that that was a circumstance. I understand the why to that.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, but that's something I can certainly check into.
I appreciate that.
I have a question about the wage comparison. You said in line with other institutions. What institutions are we in line with?
So I know from what I recall from that conversation, Nick, is that we looked at institutions here in Grand Rapids. We looked at Grand Valley. We looked at I think Muskegon Community College and a few other community colleges throughout the state to see where we landed. And so we looked at both 2- and 4-year institutions, but I don't recall specifically the entire list, but I know we looked at Grand Valley. I know we looked at Muskegon. I think we may have looked at Lansing Community College, but also looked here locally too.
But the reason I ask is that the cost of living in Muskegon to go to community college would be significantly less than living in Grand Rapids. And so the same thing with Grand Valley, like it could cost you less to live in Allendale than it would to live close to Grand Rapids. And so if our wages are in line with other community colleges, that may not still be reflective of what is necessary for a student employee. And the reason I say all of this is because we continually hear from students that the reason they don't work student jobs is because they can't afford the low wage that is offered.
So when I say in line, I think we were actually on the higher end, if not higher than many of the places I mentioned. I would have to go back and get that information. So while I understand that part of that is we also have to balance that with how do we also be affordable from a tuition standpoint. So trying to find that balance that we don't charge the same tuition that some of those institutions charge either. And so sometimes it's a trade-off in those, but trying to benefit our students as much as we can. You know, I certainly understand that every penny counts these days. And I don't know how many of you go like to the grocery store for yourself or for your families, but I know that I see the difference too. And so I do appreciate that.
Ebony, I know you got it.
So for me, okay, we can stay on the minimum wage, but can we have more benefit? For example, if we go to bookstore, can we get a discount if we are student workers? When it comes to book, because I know some of the books are expensive, and I'm a student worker. I had like this semester, my teacher had a waive the minute to afford a book just because it was expensive, and you had to get a certain book because it's required, and those books are expensive. So if we can stay with the minimum wage, but at least give us some benefit, for example, can we get maybe 10% off or 20% off for just being student workers when you want to buy a book, when you want to buy a shirt? Because at the end of the day, we want to represent Jersey where we go, but they're expensive. Socks, cup, bottle, t-shirt, they're expensive. How can we wear those outside of Jersey City if we can afford them in school? If we can give that low price or give them a discount, I would love to wear them everywhere, you know?
That's a good idea. And so I can certainly check into that. I don't know what our contract says with Barnes and Noble, who runs our bookstore, but certainly I can ask the question. And, you know, I hadn't thought of it in that way, but if that's something you want us to explore, we certainly can. And also, I just want to be clear, we don't pay minimum wage. We pay, was it $12.50 an hour?
Yeah, $12.50.
So we pay significantly above minimum wage.
Yeah, we can stay with the wage because I understand we're a community college, like the work that we do here, it's different versus someone who gets paid higher to a company. So we gotta be realistic when it comes to
Mhm.
price. And I understand that we can stick with the same price, but I'm just saying if we can get some benefit, I'm okay with that.
Okay, I'm happy to check into that.
Similar to Evodi's point, I've heard from student employees that, not necessarily raising the wage is something they're looking for, but more benefits. And one benefit I've heard before is student employees get maybe like a free meal for their shift, on a campus dining. Or if it's not every shift, once per week, just some sort of incentive for putting in those hours. So yeah. Okay. Any more comments on this first question?
And if I can, I know that there was a question, how many student employees do we have on campus? When I checked, a few weeks ago, I think the number was 184. That's significantly up from where we were, during the pandemic years, and last year, I think we had, as few as less than 50 students a year ago, working on campus. Prior to the pandemic, we had a little over 200. So we have some positions open, and when I asked the question, we were working with 4 additional students to place them into jobs, and that was the only kind of folks who were waiting, who were wanting to work on campus that needed to find a job, was 4 students.
And a follow-up to that question, this is italicized, but a question asked, a student asked, what is the purpose of student employment?
So student employment, I think, is multifaceted. It is an opportunity to earn some money while you're on campus. It's not intended to be a full-time job or a livable wage job. It is a part-time job. Part of the benefits for a student perspective, and really also from an institutional perspective, is one, hopefully we're incorporating some learning into what you're doing in the places that you work. But also national research tells us that students who work on campus have higher retention and completion rates. And so that's because we try to be as flexible as we can be with schedules and accommodate students as semesters change and their class schedule changes. We know that that's not always the case in off-campus work. And I worry, to be honest with you, that that's more challenging for individuals who work off campus, because so many places are short-staffed now, that even the flexibility that off-campus employers could provide may be less now. And so it's, again, to try to keep students on campus, keep them engaged on campus, be as flexible as we can with students so that we can accommodate their schedule, so they can count on hours while they're navigating the changes in their class schedule from semester to semester. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
How
many of you work on campus? Where do you all work?
I'm kind of like part-time at the bookstore, like temporary, like
Okay.
I've kind of been doing it for, kind of like on and off for the past year now, but yeah, I find it very convenient. Right now in like the job market, like there are tons of places like hiring per se,
Yeah.
but not really, like, I can't really get like on an application right now, so I kind of rely on, the bookstore for kind of like their income, kind of.
And so you're employed by Barnes and Noble?
Not at the moment. It's kind of like an on and off thing.
Okay,
like it's
okay.
temporary.
But when you get paid, it's from Barnes and
But yeah,
Noble and not the
yeah.
college?
Yeah, not the college.
Okay. And who else?
I work at RJF, it's right there, I work for admission and financial aid.
Okay, great.
I've been there for 2.5 now.
2.5 years. Great.
Yeah, it's an easy job, I'll say, and it's more flexible. Like my supervisor give me more, she's very flexible when it comes to schedule and stuff.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
And sometimes we go slow, let's say in summer, we don't have enough students coming on campus. You get to do your own work. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else?
I just got hired by tutoring. I don't really have anything to say about it yet.
Where are you gonna be tutoring at?
Library, I don't know.
The LRC?
Yeah, the LRC.
I'll say this much, I know that I'm in a particularly fortuitous position because I don't work for campus outside of student government work. I just, I work at the Meyer on Alpine. And it was only because I'd been there for so long before enrolling in college that they were willing to work with me on my schedule and basically give me whatever hours I needed so that it didn't conflict with my school schedule or my student government schedule. I'm very lucky. But I do know that especially for people in my peer group, it's been very difficult for them to find a job outside of the fast food industry pretty much that is willing to give them hours that are amenable to their scheduling session, because at the end of the day, they're a business and they're not particularly interested in helping us out with our college most of the time. So to that extent, I'm grateful that student employment here on campus can at least provide some amount of middle ground for those people who still want to continue to get their education, but need some extra money.
And I think you had a question or comment back here.
Yeah, I work at the ODI and then student, well, not government ambassadors.
Yeah.
National Student Forward.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Good. Well, excellent. I'm glad to hear that we have some of you who are working on campus. The other thing I'll mention about kind of the purpose of student employment is often it is easier from a legal standpoint. Students who come, international students who come with J1 or F1 visas, they aren't permitted to work off campus. However, they are allowed to work on campus. So in some cases where we have international students, we are the only place that they can be employed as a student on campus.
Nice. Can I ask a question that that's not one here before you?
Is it related to what we've talked to?
Not this topic, but it's a question related to the school, like it's like just something that's important.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get through the questions we have established right now, and then
15 minutes left, and it's a question regarding safety.
then yeah, sure.
So, my question is, are you guys, the school in the plan of adding more emergency posts? Or like if there's like a panic button or anything like that, and within like the parking structures and stuff? I know, I've seen one on this side. I don't know if it's over here on the library, the public library side, but, that was just a, question that a couple of students asked me to mention, or just the idea, just because there's mixed feelings about the safety.
Sure, great. Sorry, go ahead.
And, some students, like, they were just saying they want to protect themselves, but they don't want to go against the rules of, weapons and things like that.
Sure. So a couple things, Sydney, and that's a great question, because I will tell you, I just met with my direct reports this morning. And so that was one of my questions, to see where we are at with some of the things that we're doing to help with safety on campus. First thing I would say is everybody needs to know that we are not immune from concerns or from things happening on our campus. I think sometimes when we're in places where we feel comfortable, where we are every day, we let our guard down a little bit. The reality is we can't do that. I wish we could. And so we don't live in this bubble. But I would always start with encouraging folks to be aware of their surroundings, to go in pairs. If you're uncomfortable walking to your car, we do have a service that will walk with you. So you can take advantage of that and call and say, pick me up at RJF and walk me to my car, and we'll do that. And there's no charge or anything associated with that. I think the number I heard this morning, Sydney, was that we have 33 of those call boxes, but don't quote me on that number. So we are in the process of replacing all of them. We're not adding to them. One of the things that I learned, I should say we learned as an institution earlier this year, is that those boxes were really getting kind of old. And there's no mechanism that tells us that they're not working until someone goes to press a button and it doesn't work. So that's not where we want to be, obviously. So we have switched to a server-based system. And so we have completed the installations on the DeVos campus. And we're currently working on this campus as well as Tassel, which is out on Godfrey. And these all should be replaced, I'm told, probably by the end of June, if not sooner. And so those will be server-based. So if one of them isn't working, then our IT department gets a notification that it's not working, and that way we know to send someone out to repair it. But there's also a web page that tells you where all those locations are. Unfortunately, there's no like right or wrong way or number that says you should have this many boxes or here's where they should be located. That doesn't exist for us. If there's places that you feel like are particularly concerning, I would say tell these folks up here and say, hey, can you look at the spot? We're happy to take a look at those spots. We have looked at them over the past year as folks have given us feedback. The other thing I will also share with you is that this year we have increased our door locking procedures. So that's something new in the fall that happened in September of this year. I'm sorry. Yes. So that's something new, but we are also adding security cameras on campus. We have some already. I think we have close to 100, or we'll have close to 100 cameras that will be on entrances and around places. It's more cameras than we currently have. And so the current cameras we have will pan, so move back and forth. Well, the reality is something could have already happened before we catch it on video. So the system we're moving to is to have more cameras that get things from more angles so that if something does occur, but cameras don't provide security either. They just capture things that have happened. And so, what that does though is help give us video if something were to be a police matter or to be prosecuted or even a student conduct complaint. But so security cameras don't provide additional safety. It just covers the events as they happen. And so while we have those and our dispatch can monitor those, they can't monitor 99 cameras at once. So I say all that to say, walk in pairs, be mindful of your surroundings, know where those call boxes are, and also where exits are. And so it's unfortunate that's the world we live in today, but that's my best response I can give to you on the best way to be safe on our campuses.
Where would you be able to find out the map where you or the website where to know what they look like or where to know where they're at?
I can get you that information if you'd like. I have contact, I'm direct with email chain with Chief Rebecca Whitman, so I can get you that information after the town hall meeting.
Can you guys just add it in the next one later?
Sure, I can do that.
Yes.
So does that answer your question, Sydney?
Yes, perfect.
Oh, I just have an idea, just one thing. You know how the beginning of the classes, how teacher do show students blackboard, you maybe have one police officer stop by the classes, they gonna tell them, hey, we are here, if you need help, we can work with your car, calling this number, this is what you know about the safety. That way people knows from the beginning of the classes where to go for help.
So great idea. However, the reality is we have thousands of classes. By the time the number of officers we have to get around the semester would be over. And so I don't say that to be dismissive. So what we have done is we have a video that we've asked faculty to show at the beginning of every semester. And we also push that out through email for students. And we also push that out at the beginning of every semester for our employees as well. So trying to do that to get to the same point and doing it in a way that allows us to do that without being too long and getting it done.
Chief Whitman also mentioned that she has personally strongly encouraged every teacher, professor to show those videos at the beginning of their semester classes. And the unfortunate reality is that a lot of them don't, unfortunately. as you probably know. So, I don't know what more.
But what I will say is that if your club or student organization has interest in having someone to come in and talk about safety, if you reach out to the police department, I'm certain that they would be willing to come and do that. If you wanted to talk more about safety and how to be safe, I'm sure they would be happy to do that.
Yeah, I'd like to put in that, a lot of the professors do have like in their syllabuses, kind of like do talk about like on campus, kind of like services for, safety. Just to put that out there, that they do that a lot.
Yeah, some professor does that, but not a lot of them go there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to get to some more questions for Dr. Lepper. All right.
On to our next question. A lot of students have expressed interest in art on campus.
Yep.
And I know we've recently added a mural right here.
Yeah.
That we can see outside this window. But the question is, murals on campus again? Any updates? And what is the specific process for getting a mural on campus? What is the starting point? How can we get on the road to a campus mural?
So couple things, and this is, I probably don't have a lot of good answers or responses for this. So the college hasn't had a process or a policy, to my knowledge, on murals. And the mural here was painted before I arrived. It was dedicated after I got here. So this mural, just as a reality of part of where we are in terms of trying to figure out process, we're probably going to have to tear down that parking garage in the next 3 to 5 years because it's going to be an end of life, and we'll have to replace it with a new one. Well, that mural is probably going to be lost. And so we have to think through those things as we've started to work on our campus master plan for facilities. But we also have some artwork, some art collection that the college has that over the years, and again, I can't tell you the why that it hasn't been displayed around campus. So we are trying to figure out what the next steps are in that. As I've shared with these folks, it's on my list, but this year it hasn't been my top priority when I think about all of our other needs. My hope is that we get to the place where we can start to have some process and some practice around artwork on campus. One of the things that may or may not happen, depending upon what direction we go, is we had engaged with some of our art students. For those of you who don't know the mural, you can see it has like monarch butterflies. Monarch butterflies are the symbol for students who are in an undocumented status in this country. And so my thought was to like have some butterfly sculptures out in the green area. So I was just with one of our faculty that they had asked their class to do some project. And so we're narrowing those down to see which ones are doable, which ones we could put out there. Part of what we also have to consider with sculptures outside is, do people get on them? Do people damage them? Do they get vandalized? Again, those are some of the things that we have to think through, but certainly, you know, as I look around our spaces on the interior of our buildings, we have room for improvement on doing that. And, you know, we're trying to decide what that means for our campus in terms of renovation before we start painting things and then having people invest their time and energy and then just be up for a short period of time.
All right, thank you. The next question is, how do you feel about professors not putting anything on the blackboard until the end of the semester, specifically math professors who don't update grades on Blackboard?
So let me ask, first of all, like, let me hear from you all, like, what is your experience with that?
So I'm taking a statistic classes. The teacher doesn't use Blackboard, like he let us know that he doesn't use Blackboard, we give her the paper. So we do track our grade on the paper. That's what I know from my teacher. So we know where to track the grade because he doesn't use Blackboard, we use more paper, which is kind of cool with. So I can't speak for all the professors.
So from this semester, I learned that Blackboard, the professors don't have to put the grades on there. So that was a challenge for me, adjusting to a professor not putting grades on there at all, because I've gotten so accustomed to my professors since I've been here, or even when I was at Grand Valley, put the grades on there. And so when to find that out from a professor telling me that, well, it's not, totally not, we're not obligated to do that. So it's your, responsibility to come to us and ask about your grades or different things like that. But that was like hard to accept, because we've been spoiled to our professors so far doing that, to when we meet a professor that doesn't, kind of rub us off a little.
Have folks had experiences where their faculty is putting their grades on Blackboard?
Yeah, I would say probably half of my professors every semester just put them on immediately, but the other half, it's always consistently either a nothing until end of the semester, or, you know, they get their grading done in batches once a month or once every 2 months, and then they just update it by that point. But, the general feeling, at least for me, has been that it doesn't feel like there's a uniform requirement that teachers have to have grades put in for being able to view by a specific time.
So it sounds like we're kind of all over the place. So unfortunately, the answer is that faculty are not required to use Blackboard for grades, because there's policy and also in their contract that's negotiated with their union, that's not been part of what has been in the contract, nor in the expectations. We strongly encourage faculty to do that. But there's also, I think, an opportunity that if the Student Government Association wants to take that on and have their voice be heard, there is a committee, it's a group, it's called Academic Governance Council, that has representatives from, I think there's like 55 faculty members on it and 17 administrators. And Alex goes to those and is on that committee as well. So he speaks and provides a student perspective. That is something that certainly there could be avenues for student voices to be heard and to talk through that policy at the Academic Governance Council.
Yeah.
So I would say if you all want that, advocate for it.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely bring that up. I think the next meeting is tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, but similar to Bodie's point, I had statistics. Did you say statistics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had statistics, and we just got a piece of paper, and we just had to track our grades, and then really at the end of the semester, you just find out your grade. I mean,
It's
yeah.
more like we add up what we do, like, in my statistics class, we just did tests, quizzes, and we just like added that up throughout the semester. Though I believe it might be like the end of the semester when students take the final exam and they don't know what they got on it. And then it's kind of just like that kind of, anxiety that gets to them, because it's like, what did I get on this? I want to know.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Good to know.
We have 2 minutes left, but I just want to get maybe this last question and maybe a quick response if you can. But what is the logic behind deadlines on dropping classes?
Well, if I misspeak, then hopefully I'll be corrected. So here's what I will say and what I know. So what our deadlines are they're based upon is that we have to comply with standards from the U.S. Department of Education that meet financial aid standards of progress or standards of academic progress. And so what happens is when you all register for classes, if you receive financial aid, if you don't complete 60% of that coursework, then the federal government says you are still responsible for that money. So if you receive money for a 3 credit hour class and you drop that class, then you may be put into a category, it's called Return to Title IV or R2T4. And these are things you don't have to remember. But then you owe us money because we owe the federal government money. And so what we try to do is align our processes that if you're going to drop a class, you do it before a point in which you get into that return to Title IV status. So it's us trying to look out for you and give you that same flexibility or as much flexibility in your class schedule, because we know life changes, work schedule changes. You may get into class and be like, this isn't what I thought it was at all, or there may be something that's different. And so we do that drop add period, but then we do that also withdraw period so that we're not putting you in situations where you may owe money back to the college and ultimately to the federal government.
Well, thank you. We got through most of our questions, but
I have a couple more minutes if you all do. I mean, if you want me to stay, I have a few more minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna give it, I always like on, okay. Do GRCC have a journalism, program?
Journalism program?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, so you know how we have a lot of TV right around campus? The other way we can have a TV news where students go on the TVs, because we used to have that in high school, where we can student give you the update about everything that happened in the school. So we have a lot of TV that doesn't really have anything. All we see is the flyers. If we can have a group of students who want to do like a reporting stuff, they give you update about what's happening to school, what events, where to go and stuff like that. Some people may be interested in that, so we can give a lot to this TV, just sitting there only having flyers. Maybe they can have people talking.
So a couple things that, again, I love coming to these because there's always good ideas. Some of the monitors you see are not actually TVs. They're monitors that just push out content. So they don't have the same internal pieces that a TV at home would have. Some of them have the capability to be TVs as well. Not all of them communicate with each other. So we're actually in the process now of updating our digital signage as a college and bringing that under one system. The college does have space on the cable channels. So in fact, we run 2 cable channels out of Media Technology, which is over in LRC. And so I would say if there's an interest in doing something like that, the person I would recommend coming in and talking with Student Government Association is Class Quant, who's the director of our Media Technologies. He's the person who could tell you the capabilities and what we do and what we could do. He's a real good person, good guy. And so I know he would be more than happy to come in and chat with this group.
yeah, and the collegiate.
So do you want to be the news anchor? No?
Because we used to do that all the time in my high school, like, you walk around, you see students talking on TV, giving updates, you know? Sometimes we even have to, like, have a moment before we start the classes, listen to the news, and then start the class.
Yeah, some of the things that we do so that you're aware, so much of the video production that you see around campus, that involves many of our students. Some of them are employed, some of them are interns. But you know, when we videotape, and I'll show you how old I am as I say videotape, when we record commencement or Raider rally or block party or those things, many of those are students who are in our program, and videos that you see of me that may occasionally come out, that involves our Media Technology area, and students are involved there. Yeah, and I would encourage you all, like, if you want to reach out to class, also say to class, like, hey, can we meet over there and you give us a tour and show us what all we have on campus? So we do podcasts from there. We have a green screen so that you can go into like a studio. There's lots of really cool stuff over there. Like they provide all these owls for video conferencing. So there's a lot there that they can show you and talk with you about. And Ashley knows how to get in touch with class.
Right. Well, I think that's a wrap, but thank you for all your questions. And thank you, Dr. Leffler, for coming here.
Thanks for coming down. Thank you. You know, one of the things I often tell student leaders is that's how I ended up in the job that I have today. I was a student leader on my campus and was like, oh, like, I think I could do that job. And so think about that as a career too, that we need good folks to be college administrators and college leaders. And it's because my experience as a student leader that became my interest. That's not what I went to college to be. But it's been a great experience for me.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Guys, if you haven't, go ahead and take food. It's an everything must go type situation.
I'm getting ready to leave for the day for a personal appointment.
And Nick, if you're interested.
So.
Good luck with that.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, I figured I brought two if you want to take some.
Do you guys have barbecue?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are.
it smells like it.
I know that.
Did you, did you ever get that position filled for? I forget what members of the-
So I wanted to.
Likewise, you too.
That was.
You have hours today? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, otherwise. It's like- Allocation, but I was.
I'm excited about
Let you go off and-
everything. I was talking about maybe like a diagram, like a black hour. It was a good idea. I didn't think about that.